What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Donald Trump continues his campaign to whitewash American history, to make it look like, slavery wasn't all that bad. White people didn't do anything really to the Native Americans. White people didn't do anything. They didn't drop nuclear bombs on Japan. As a matter of fact, white people, in their peaceful discovery of America, is excellent, and we should celebrate that. I want to thank all the black content creators who promoted Donald Trump during the election after he said he was going to whitewash American history and he was going to go on a campaign to destroy the accomplishments of African Americans. I want to thank FBA, Black MAGA, for putting all your energy in trying to convince everybody that a black woman is not black, while also using the fact that she's a black woman against her at the same time, contradicting yourself. I want to thank all you black YouTubers who value money YouTube and social media gives you over your own people. I want to thank all of you black content creators who rather make content attacking your brothers and sisters who look like you without having any smoke for those politicians who you guys allowed to gain power. I want to thank all you black content creators who have an issue with black immigrants, but don't have an issue with all the white immigrants that currently run our country. All the third generation neo-Nazi Germans that currently run the United States of America. I want to thank all of you black people for being a distraction and a wedge between black power and our progress and the white people that mean to destroy us. I hope that money that you got is worth it. I hope you were able to buy chains and watches and cars and houses. I hope your personal life is amazing because that's what you sold. That's what you gained by selling out your people. That's why you guys are the enemy. And I hope that you don't care because I know you don't. As long as the white man continues to give you money because the algorithm tells you talk shit about black women. After that dried up, now you're talking shit about Pan-Africanism, which is pro-black unity. The fact that you can get online and make video after video, finding wedge issues to disunify black people globally as we are fighting for our survival against the savage barbarian, you should be proud of yourself. I'm sure your ancestors are proud of you. I'm sure your parents are proud of you. I'm sure that your elders who fought tooth and nail and bled to get all the gains that we gained, I'm sure they're happy with your performance, that you are participating in your own black exploitation. I hope you're proud of yourself, and I hope you enjoy that money you made while distracting African Americans from the real issue. Because right now, we have white people who are not even foundational white Americans. They're not even white Americans that was here during the most critical times of our history. These white people are from Europe. So I just want to thank you for allowing these white people from Europe not to have to fight black people because you guys fought black people on their behalf. I want to thank you for supporting Donald Trump, who clearly is a racist, has a history of being a racist, who's documented to be a racist, who's also a sexual offender and a criminal. I want to thank you for all the support that you've gave this neo-Nazi. And you will go down in history because your videos are online, and we will never let it up. Because I'm pretty sure after all this is over, every one of you will switch up the grift to something else. But I, and many people like myself, will never allow you to get away from it or forget that you were on the wrong side of history and that you are part of the problem, that you are neo-Nazi, black-face contractors, and you are the architects of our current situation. So I just want to thank all you black coons out there, you black Republicans out there, you black people rapping racism and hip-hop out there, you FBA Black MAGA out there. I want to thank all of you. You did such a great and wonderful job. Your ancestors are proud of you, especially the ones that captured us and brought us into the transatlantic slave trade. Your ancestors are very proud of you. The ones that used to take the whip and slap and smack and kill and abuse his fellow Africans so that the white master will give him a dry-ass butter biscuit. Yeah, those are your ancestors. COINTELPRO, those are your ancestors. Your ancestors are traitors to the black community. That blood runs deep in you. And I just want to let you know that all of us pro-black Pan-Africans who are promoting pro-black policies, talking pro-black and positivity to our community, that hold xenophobic people, no matter what language they speak, what country they're from, what ethnic group they are. I want to let you know that you will always remain in the category of the traitors of the black community. And no matter how much fun you're having right now, no matter how much money YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok is paying you right now, no matter how many dumbass subscribers that you are poisoning with your dumbass ideology and your dumbass white supremacy wrapped in black hip hop paper because you think it's cool or because you have no talent, so you follow a fad, you follow the wave that the white people give you to follow instead of following your own path and having some goddamn pride about yourself. You have no pride. The ancestors spit on you. Shaka Zulu would have deleted you. All the great warriors, African warriors in the past, would have deleted you. You are the problem. You are worse than white people because we expect it from them. But you guys are the traitors from within. You guys are the enemy from within. And I will never forgive any of you. And don't worry, us African Americans will make it through this. Us African Americans and our history will make it through this despite your treacherous ways, because you're like a Judas. Money is more important than your people. So anyway, I'm going to put this here and just pay attention to what Donald Trump is doing thanks to the sit on the couch FBA Negroes who promoted not participating in the voting process because they poison their subscribers who are already uneducated and making them believe that voting doesn't work. The reason why voting doesn't work is because you don't do it. And if voting didn't work, the Republicans wouldn't be right now trying to gerrymander states in order to take away power from the black people in America. So yes, thank you very much. Your ancestors are ashamed of you. You are an embarrassment to the black community, and you are the ones that will never go with us. You're the ones that will stay right there next to Massa because his ship is sinking and you will sink right along with him. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn some, teach some. I'm out.
Today, the White House sent a letter to the head of the Smithsonian, one of the great museums of the world, which is actually 21 museums in all. In the letter, they made it clear to Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Bunch III, writing that it wants what it wants and why from 8 of their museums initially, with more to come. Quoting now from the administration's letter, quote, "This initiative aims to ensure alignment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive or partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions. They're beginning a review of the Smithsonian's plan for celebrating the 250th anniversary of American independence next year, but that's hardly all. Even as it says the goal is not to interfere with day-to-day operations, the White House goes on to demand from each museum a full catalog of all current and ongoing exhibitions and budgets, a list of all traveling exhibitions and plans for the next 3 years, and all internal guidelines, including staff manuals, job descriptions, and organizational charts, along with internal communications about exhibition artwork selection and approval. The letter concludes with this: "By focusing on Americanism, the people, principles, and progress that define our nation, we can work together to renew the Smithsonian's role as the world's leading museum institution," which on its own might sound like a noble ambition, but it does not, of course, stand alone. It comes as part of what has been the administration's ongoing effort to purge government websites and American historical sites of references to Black Americans, gay and lesbian Americans, and transgendered Americans. At one point, even flagging for removal on a Pentagon website a photo of the B-29 bomber that dropped the first atomic bomb in combat. The plane was nicknamed the Enola Gay. A somewhat ironic Control-F fail, apparently, but also part and parcel of a deeply serious administration effort to eliminate from government websites any mention, photograph, or video that, quote, promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion. What followed was the elimination of references to Black and Latino war heroes, gay service members, and the effort to integrate the armed services starting in 1948. And what followed in March was an executive order targeting the Smithsonian for coming, quote, under the influence of a divisive race-centered ideology. Now, that order signaled out one of the 8 museums named in the letter today, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and specifically something someone wrote on a museum website once in 2020 and was quickly taken down, in which the Secretary Bunch, spoke about in front of Congress in 2023.
I think that the document itself was wrong and flawed. I do think, however, it's important for the Smithsonian to help the country grapple with questions of race. So I'm not going to run away from that. But I agree with you very much that that document is not the kind of document that should be at the Smithsonian.
He acknowledged it was inappropriate and wrong and took it down. But if you've ever been to this museum, in addition to being powerful and moving, it's upsetting and it is unsettling, just like parts of our history are. Parts of the administration has already taken steps to edit out or in, as the case may be. In June of 2020, protesters in Washington pulled down a statue of a Confederate Army General Albert Pike. A short time later, the president, who was then running for re-election, said something that spoke to that moment, and it seems to this moment as well.
The unhinged left-wing mob is trying to vandalize our history, desecrate our monuments, our beautiful monuments, tear down our statues, and punish, cancel, and persecute anyone who does not conform to their demands for absolute and total control.
Well, last week, the National Park Service announced that the statue of Albert Pike, who was, just to repeat, a Confederate general, a traitor, would be restored to its place in the district to conform to recent executive orders, including the one in March to restore, quote, truth and sanity to American history. Joined now by New York Times' White House correspondent Maggie Haberman. So where is this coming from in the White House? I mean, is this from the president himself?
This is from a lot of people around the president and encouraged by the president. As you noted, the president talked about this in 2020. He actually talked about that prior to 2020, the broader concept in 2017 when the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia happened. And he started talking to aides about how he liked the idea of talking about heritage. And that became something that he would focus on in public addresses and public speeches. This is just a continuation of that. This is not necessarily a long-held belief of Donald Trump's, which is something a lot of advisors have tried to insist, but it is a long-held belief of a number of conservatives that they are upset about a focus on race. As you said, race and controversy around race and how black people have been treated in this country it is not really subjective. It just is. There are ugly aspects of the history, and so Trump saying that people are being controlled or censored or canceled. He is, as you suggest, efforting some kind of a different approach, doing what critics would argue something similar.
Yeah, I mean, we saw early on in the administration sort of these ham-fisted efforts to purge all government websites at the Pentagon of any references to black people or gay people, taking books out of the library at military academies by black authors or about the black experience in America, whereas I think the Times noted Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler was allowed to stay in. I think a Toni Morrison book was taken out. I think it was Beloved. Is there a sense of, is somebody in the White House themselves running point on this? Or?
I think there are a couple of people in the White House who are running point on this. You saw that letter was signed by a couple of advisors. One is somebody who works in the staff secretary's office. One is Russ Vought at the Office of Management and Budget. There's a third who I'm not placing right now in memory, but there are a couple of people who are involved in this effort. It goes beyond what we have seen, where Trump is talking about campaign promises, right? He repeatedly said on the campaign trail, I'm going to end, DEI. And this is something Republicans have talked about for a long time, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And there were a lot of complaints from some of his corporate backers about those programs. I don't know that people who supported him necessarily knew that this was going to be what he intended in terms of undoing aspects or rewriting aspects or, rewriting what can be presented about aspects of the country's history.
It's also interesting because they're focusing on 8 of the 21 museums of the Smithsonian Institution, but there's no reason it would stop there.
No, we have seen him, as you say, we have seen him expand this effort as far as he has so far, because he's not really facing a ton of pushback. And I think the institutions that find themselves in his crosshairs, or in his focus, I should say, aren't really sure quite what to do, because if they push back in some cases, then they feel like they're feeding into a narrative. If they submit completely, then they're feeding into a different narrative. So they're faced with a lot of imperfect choices.
It's so interesting. It's the conflict Democrats face when talking about the policing in the District of Columbia. Do you point out statistics of it's a 30-year low as the statistics show? and thereby sound like you're saying, oh, there's not a crime problem in Washington, D.C., when there's a crime problem everywhere.
Right, and I think you see that in terms of how Mayor Bowser has reacted. Look, I mean, she's not there is a crime problem everywhere. I mean, in multiple cities. Big cities have traditionally had crime problems.
Human beings, there's crime everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
And certainly, we saw crime rates spike during COVID. In some cases, we've seen it come down. But there are a lot of people who feel unsafe in big cities. And so if the mayor pushes back on the president, she sounds like she's not addressing concerns of constituents. Those are the choices.
Right. Maggie Abrams, thanks very much. President Trump, in his address to a joint session of Congress earlier this year, took credit for what he said was the end of wokeness.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer.
Joining me now for more on this is former president and CEO of the NAACP, Cornell William Brooks, who's a Harvard professor and CNN chief political analyst, David Axelrod, former senior advisor to President Obama. Cornell, we've talked before about how accepting and learning from shameful periods in American history actually make this country stronger. What do you make of this now review of the Smithsonian, or at least 8 museums at the Smithsonian?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. But let us know this. This most recent effort to censor the Smithsonian is a matter of making bad worse. So we had an executive order that contributed to a chilling effect with respect to the Smithsonian. But here what we have is censorship tied to a celebration, namely the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the founding of our country. And the White House is essentially engaged in a kind of cultural micromanagement. We have 3 government officials who have no expertise in curation, no expertise as historians, no expertise in terms of culture or art, attempting to micromanage the crown jewel of American culture and history, namely the Smithsonian. And to what end? We need to be very clear about this and be very honest. What they're trying to do is essentially weaponize African Americans as Americans. So in other words, to the degree that we and so many others have contributed to the Declaration of Independence, the history of this country. So thinking about the fact that Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence, was brilliant philosophically, but flawed morally in terms of owning enslaved people. And yet the document that he wrote was cited by the grandson of enslaved people, namely Martin Luther King, on the Mall in order to free this country, to advance this country. So in other words, we have to tell the whole truth, the complete truth, not a sanitized, homogenized, White House, whitewash version of the truth. Because when we do so to the detriment of our history and the detriment of our country. And frankly, this is, again, a matter of making bad worse.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.